Hey, everybody. This is Josh Peak, Membership Director with OKUSA Wrestling. And I have Chairman Zachary Randall with us. Hey, Zach, how you doing?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. Well, let's get started. We wanted to do another live update for you guys. First, I want to talk about we have two tournaments this week for the youth, Katusa. They're both on November 13th, which is Saturday. And then we have the Clash at the Creek. That is Clash at the Creek. That is at Deer Creek High School. So we'll be sending out an email a little bit later, like we normally do. And they're both up on Facebook as well. So you can go see the links to click to get registered for that. Let's really get the numbers big for that. We want to have two good tournaments. We're definitely in the season now. So let's make those two tournaments a big success. Well, let's talk about what happened this weekend. It was pretty successful. Red River Duel, Oklahoma versus Texas and South Lake. Kind of talk to us about that, how that went this weekend.
Yeah, it was really cool. Something I always wanted, I think, for our kids is to have some opportunity, to shine. We worked really well with, the folks that do the border brawl. And we had a lot of Oklahoma kids up there wrestling, Missouri and Iowa, the kids from that part of the country. And then we thought it'd be great to go down south and wrestle our neighbors too in Texas. And so really great guys there. American Wrestler and the sponsor of that event was just incredible. I know that's on Flow and a lot of that. It's really some really great matches. And it was a really cool event. And I was really glad to work with Texas to get that done. And it really showcased a lot of our kids, our seniors that may not, have got as much showcase and visibility as we'd like. And so that was kind of the goal of it, is to kind of help showcase senior men and women's wrestling and really kind of, I think that's what it did. The men's team won and the women's team lost, and really impressed with their wrestling. They wrestled so hard. I mean, that's the one thing about our wrestlers is they wrestle with so much heart. But I think, some of the stuff that I came away with were some of the kids that we still have unsigned that are seniors. I mean, we have some kids that are just, outstanding wrestlers, and they haven't really been signed. I talked about this on our last podcast about, we have such great in-state schools, and a lot of these, weights were just already full. They're so full of Oklahoma kids and other kids. And so there's not a lot of space for some of these kids. And so I hope that, some of the out-of-state schools are taking a look at, these videos that are on Flow and these kids wrestling, because, man, we've got some humdinger Oklahoma kids that definitely somebody should invest some time and money in, to pick up. They had some in Texas. I've been in Oklahoma my whole life, and I was amazed at how technical Texas wrestling has gotten. They've really, Texas has done a great job of stepping up their wrestling on the men and the women's side. And the women's side, they're really far ahead technically. And the men's side has made just, leaps and bounds technically. They've got some great coaches and high schools down there, South Lake, Acklin. That was awesome. And they brought it. And the matches were really great to watch and tight. But some of the kids that we had that just stood out, it started out right off the night at 125 with Potts, and Texas brought a stinger, and he was a freak show champion, and they had a battle, and Potts is great. He controlled the match and the pressure that was there. Followed that up with Reese Davis, his teammate, who is a senior and is not signed yet. And Reese Davis, I'm telling you, he is a great wrestler, and really whoever gets him to wrestle in college, he's going to be such an asset. I love those Tuttle kids. They have such a great history of Tuttle. They're trained really well. They have great coaches in Tuttle and have for years, and they really get those kids ready. There's so many good kids there. Some guys that really came out. I think this kid's had a great preseason is Drake Acklin from Collinsville. I'm telling you what, he was all over Super 32, and he went out there and just balled. And he's a great kid. He's got a great energy, really positive, outgoing. And I just was really impressed with him. Another kid who's really come out and wrestled well preseason, Bam West. He's doing a fabulous job. Really skilled wrestlers, and really showing high levels of technique. And I was really impressed with them. And then it finished up with our big guy, who really did great, Wells too, from Glenpool.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, just as a coach, and a person who's wrestled in college and has coached college wrestling, the thing that I would encourage, if coaches are looking at these videos to look for is, there's a big jump from high school to college wrestling, and it's huge, and one of the things that it's really is kind of prevalent in college wrestling is this idea of pressure. The matches are tighter in college. Typically there's more pressure. And then, the better wrestlers, they build on that pressure. They build on scoring. So it's not, you watch a college match, it's not uncommon for there to be a 0-0 score going into the second period, or, maybe there's one takedown, and that's how these matches were. But what you saw then is throughout the match, they started building, building a lead. I mean, Reese and Wells were great examples of that. Jackson Randall too. My son, I don't talk a lot about him, but it was a tight match at the beginning, and he just built on it. And I mean, at the end of the match, he's teching. Now he's already been signed, but to an in-state school. But these other kids, they haven't been. And if you're a college coach and you're watching that tells me they can handle that kind of pressure, where tight matches are going to be almost every match in college, and they're building and still technically going. And so it was awesome. It was really awesome. And then the one thing on our women's side, we definitely, the score was not, I don't think, indicative of the effort. I was so impressed with our female wrestlers, our women wrestlers. They went out and they wrestled so hard, and they have so much heart. And, just what we saw from that, I think that just really builds a great foundation for us to continue and work on developing, that side of our state. Texas has had women's wrestling for, 20 plus years, and we're just getting started in it. So I'm just impressed that our girls went out and fought so hard and really cared about it. But overall, it was a super cool event, man. I think it was exciting. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. It was really cool to watch it. The kids did awesome. They really did awesome.
Is that an event we're probably going to have every year, or is that something you're working on? Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to we're going to continue that event every year. Try to make it something annual. And the guys that were involved in that, just a great group of wrestling coaches in equipment company from Texas. And you guys can get all the information on that. They posted it all, but those guys are awesome. And they did a lot of work driving that. And that event was really cool. I mean, it was at South Carroll High School. It was really cool. They had the lights dropped and a spotlight, and the environment was cool, and the uniforms were awesome. And it was just a really cool thing. And we're going to do it every year and try to add more to it. And so I think as a state, we've got to, develop and give opportunities to our kids to be showcased and seen. And I feel like the kids that went to that duel really showed what they had, and showed that, in pressure situations with really tough wrestlers from Texas, who I also think showed what they had too. We saw some great wrestling. It was really cool. I think it was a really great event.
Well, that's good. The other thing let's talk about is just some areas of improvement that you think, as a chairman, we probably need to work on, maybe as an organization. What are some areas of improvement that you're in your mind, you're thinking we probably need to hit on?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think that's always the question that all good competitive people ask themselves, like whether you win or lose, you want to try to figure out what you can do better. Even if you're really successful and you do something well, you want to figure out the areas you didn't do well in. And so what I saw is what I know is that we, a lot of our schools were blessed. I mean, when you have schools and you have coaches like that you have from like Collinsville, I mean, how many great wrestlers of Collinsville and Tuttle and Glenpool and the Edmond North area, they just produce. These coaches are incredible in these areas, and they just do a great job. And that's why I always say I think we have the best coaches in the country, and they produce consistently great wrestlers, and they're doing a great job. And so I really think that, as far as our coaching and all that, we need to just keep doing what we do, support our coaches, let them do what they do. And I think really, probably mostly on the women's side, we need to continue development. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I think that, starting women's wrestling and making it equitable, and we're still not completely where we need to be with that. I think we still need to be improving on that. But, I think discussing, adding or dropping a weight class may be less important than like spending time developing our athletes. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I would really encourage on the women's side of wrestling for our state is, for coaches and folks that are really involved in key stakeholders in women's wrestling, like myself, I see that we need to help develop those athletes technically. And so that's what I would encourage is people to work together, no matter what club or school you are from. Let's get together and start helping our women wrestling wrestlers develop, because they have the heart and they have the attitude and the work ethic, but we need to give them the skill sets that most all Oklahoma wrestlers have, you know. And that's the cool thing is we've got the great coaches and we've got the people to do it. We just need to focus on maybe more of that than, you know, disputes about how many weight classes or, you know, whether they should be in a red singlet or a blue singlet. You know, I mean, let's get to work on the kids. I think that's what we really need to do together as a state, not as individuals and all that. We got to work together.
Sure. Well, and I didn't say this at the beginning, but so everybody who's watching this or maybe catching it late, it is streamed on Facebook Live. It's streamed on YouTube and on Twitter. We have a platform we're using to be able to do that simultaneously. And so you can check us out. It's stream. You can see at the very bottom of the screen our handles for that. Is there anything else that you want to add? I mean, I know we wanted to do a quick live. We're going to be doing more of these, and also some interviews with some of the tournaments that we're having come up. We're going to interview those coaches, the people that are hosting those, and then probably even some other coaches as well to showcase some of our coaches and leaders. But other than that, is there anything else you want to add?
Super proud of all those kids that went down there and wrestled, and super thankful for all their great coaches and their families that contribute to develop them. I mean, I think that Oklahoma is looking great, and then we're moving in a great direction. And I just would say, let's just keep working together. Super excited about wrestling season, man. You know, we had our limited one, and I think it's going to be full blown, like everything, you know, pretty much back to normal. And I can't wait to see it. And I'm excited. I think we got such incredible wrestlers this year, you know, from the youth all the way to the high school state tournament. It's going to be awesome and competitive, and I can't wait to see all that.
Yeah, I think the excitement's huge. I mean, going back from Fargo, the numbers we had there to the numbers now that we're seeing on the membership side to, you know, I talked to USA Wrestling this morning about some of our numbers. We'll talk about that Sunday at the board meeting, but we have some really big things happening in Oklahoma, growth that is. And so,
I mean, you said that. I mean, it's probably a good thing to just kind of let anybody that's interested in, you know, watching this know that we were there were only 8 states that had growth this year in membership. You know, you're our membership director, so you have a lot to do with that. And I really appreciate the work you're doing with that. But that's big time to have growth during a COVID year. That's pretty awesome. But I mean, that just shows that, you know, everybody's working together, and then the coaches and the family and the kids and the dedication of everybody. And I mean, that's what makes Oklahoma strong, is when we're one. And you know, I would just continue to keep pushing that. I'm sure our numbers are going to keep growing, and we're going to keep developing. And as long as our focus is in the right spot and everybody's working together, it's great things we can accomplish in Oklahoma. Continue.
Yeah, we have one question here. Let me see if I can. Yeah. It says, will future tournaments be ran on track or Flow Arena? Not sure how they'll be changing services once as they were bought out by Flow Wrestling. So will those events be on Flow or on track, I guess?
You know, I went to the USA Wrestling Leadership Summit about a month ago, you know, and that is a question that, I mean, I think every wrestling state in the country is asking. You know, it's really cool to have those two, you know, enormous companies, and they've really, I mean, it's kind of revolutionized wrestling, right? It's really changed the face of wrestling, which we're real excited about. I'm sure that those two companies are going to get together and help us figure that out. I know that right now we haven't been given any specific information. As soon as we do, you know, I'm sure they'll give it to everybody. But if they don't, then we'll definitely let everybody know. But I don't know. I can't imagine it's not going to be, you know, even better now that those two are together. I know that, you know, just personally, like, I love all the content and flow, but I like the brackets and track, you know. And so I don't know, like, you know, which of the best the world will get, but that's a pretty cool company, and they're wrestling people, and I'm excited about, you know, what they're going to do working together. It should be pretty cool, but we don't know really yet. Sorry, we don't really have that answer.
Yep. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and end this. I want a reminder here that we do have tournaments this weekend. The OK Youth League, that is in Catoosa High School, and the Clash at the Creek, which that's Deer Creek High School. That is Saturday the 13th. So just make sure that you guys get signed up for that if you're watching, you have kids at that age, and make sure you share this video so that everybody else will be able to see it as well. I know there's people working their jobs in the daytime. And so the best thing to do is we can share this and share the information. And again, it's on our YouTube channel, it's on Twitter, and it's Facebook Live. So
don't forget membership meeting too this Sunday. If anybody can make it, you're more than welcome to come out and be involved in that too.
Yep, a membership meeting, Cushing.
Yep.
And so, yeah, what time is that? That's
2, 3, I think maybe. I think it's
on that. Yeah, it's on our site. So make sure that you guys, if you guys want to come to that as well after the tournament, which our meeting's on Sunday, the tournaments are on Saturday. That'd be good to get you guys to come out. So I appreciate you taking time middle of the day to do this, Zach. We'll be having more of these throughout this year as well. So I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Wrestle hard.